everyone in podcast listening land. I'm Karen Devaney.
And I'm Ann Varner.
And we're sisters.
Welcome to Sugar-Coated Murder, where we'll discuss
and probably inappropriately laugh about and comment on.
Yep, one of our favorite subjects.
Murder. Oh, and we love to bake. And why not combine our two favorite subjects?
Baking
and killers. Hello, Ann Varner.
Hello, Karen Devaney.
Oh my gosh, happy International Podcast Day.
Oh my.
I know.
Isn't that exciting?
And guess what we're doing to celebrate?
Podcasting.
We're podcasting.
Yay, look at us go.
I mean, it's the craziest thing. What a great idea.
We're out of control.
Oh, we are all sorts of
We're
out of control.
having too much fun.
We are having too much fun. And by the way, this is our 34th full episode.
Wow.
Like, who knew we were going to do all that?
I had no earthly idea. I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted too, but in a good way. I love it. It still gets me up in the morning. It still drives me. I'm loving this.
Oh my gosh.
This is so fun.
It is very fun. And
Yeah.
the people who actually listen to it.
That's the thing that really just makes my head spin around 3 times.
What the heck?
I know.
And
People
y'all
that
still
don't know
listen.
us and don't have to listen.
Right.
Like they voluntarily do it.
Crazies.
I know.
Yes,
I love it.
silly.
And I love each and every one of them.
Me too.
So, what are you making today?
Well, you know, fall is fast approaching.
Yeah, I can't decide here.
I can't decide. And I just needed one last shot of summer in my kitchen. So I decided to make key lime delights, which is like a key lime bar, like a lemon bar, but with key lime.
I love it. I love
Yes.
key lime everything.
And this is straight out of a key lime recipe book from Key West, Florida.
Oh, you can't get any more authentic than that.
Exactly.
You are certified authentic.
I know. And here I am cutting my butter into my flour and powdered sugar.
With a fork.
I know. Just to say we're still humble people, just in a simple kitchen, because I don't have a
I'm
butter
so
cutter.
getting you a cutter for, I don't know, Christmas. That's what your Christmas present's going to be.
Oh, that's exciting.
A pastry cutter.
That's
You're not going to know what to do with yourself. You
I
won't
know.
even know how to act.
I'll probably still be cutting this butter by Christmas.
My butter cutter is so old that one of the blades is actually bent.
Oh my.
But I don't care.
Does it still work?
Yeah.
That's all that really matters.
I know. And it makes life a lot easier. That's why you're going to get one.
Yay! I'm so excited.
And then I'll be expecting you to be butter cutting all over the place.
Well, you expect a lot of me, I will say.
Well, I mean, no more than I expect from other people.
That's not true. That is so not true.
Whatever.
That is not
You got
true.
this. I don't ever expect you to do anything beyond what I know you can do.
Okay.
So you got this, sugar. So do you want us to tell us about the recipe before I start?
Yeah, sure. It's really simple. You just make your basic crust like you would for a lemon bar. It's powdered sugar, flour, and 2 sticks of butter.
Oh, I love butter.
You cut that together, you bake it, and then you make your key lime filling. I use the Nellie and Joe's Key West key lime juice.
Yes.
Some people like to use their own key limes, but I don't have time to squeeze my own lime.
And we don't always get them in our grocery store either.
we
So
don't.
it's a hit or miss.
It
So
is.
I like Nellie and Joe. I think they're good people.
Yeah. So it's
And
really
they have
easy.
good key limes. Wherever
I
they are,
agree.
they grow some mighty fine key
I
limes.
agree. So, and I did feel a little guilty because our listeners heard that they were going to get a key lime recipe, a key lime pie recipe. And
when
then
Mama was here.
we accidentally filmed not us.
That is true.
We recorded, but we didn't film. It just didn't work out.
And
It was an epic
the
fail.
audio recording was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
It was just awful. So that was definitely a fail. We've got a couple of those under our belts, but it's okay. We're so human.
We are so human.
So human. We are so human. Yeah.
So that's what I'm still cutting butter, by the way.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to talk real.
You're going to talk
slow.
real slow. Otherwise, you're going to be finishing up this recipe.
Oh Lord. Well, you know I don't like that.
I know.
Okay. So I'm going to start with my moida.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear
I'm
it.
going to talk murder to you, girl.
Ooh.
Getting sassy. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Reverend Dwight W. Moore.
Dwight W. Moore.
The Right Reverend Dwight.
All right.
Okay, this is August of 1989. So we're going back a bit.
Yeah.
And he is in the hospital fighting for his life.
Oh, bless his heart.
Back in November of 1988, he had just had his nuptials canceled because he was hospitalized due to severe nausea and vomiting.
Oh, dear.
He went through a couple of bouts of some intestinal issues, and he actually ended up with an operation on part of his intestines.
Oh, dear.
I know how that feels, and I'm real sorry for you, Dwight. So, April of 1989, Dwight finally is able to marry his bride, Blanche.
Aww.
Yes. 5 days later, Dwight is back in the hospital again with severe nausea and vomiting.
Oh, no.
The hospital where he is cannot figure out what's wrong with him, and they transfer him to a hospital in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Okay.
In May, doctors determined that Dwight, now near death, has been poisoned with arsenic.
Oh, Dwight.
Yes.
What has happened?
Yeah, and they report this to the police. So the police come and talk to Dwight in the hospital. Dwight summons the strength to discuss his situation with them. In the discussion, they ask Dwight, who do you think could have done this to you? And he has no idea. And he said, I don't think anybody did this to me. I was at the parsonage, and I was spraying dandelion killer on the dandelions. And right as I was finishing up, my wife brought me a chicken sandwich, which I ate, and I must not have washed my hands.
Okay.
And they said, Dwight, you have 100 times more arsenic in your body than what is normal. We've never even seen a person live this long with this much arsenic.
Right.
You're pretty much going to die. This does not come from one spraying of the dandelions. You don't use arsenic on dandelions. It's an insecticide.
Right.
And he was like, well, then I don't know who could have done it.
Well, let's think about your chicken sandwich.
All right. So they keep talking and they keep talking, and Dwight is, they're discussing all sorts of things, and they're going through different people in his life, and he's divorced. He's got 2 daughters, and where's your ex-wife, and what are your daughters up to, and all this kind of stuff. And they talk about Blanche, his new bride. And in the discussion, at some point, I hear a weird noise.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird noise. What's happening?
Oh, it's just my computer. It's fine.
Okay. Is there like an end of the world alarm going off?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. So.
But good on you for checking, because.
Yeah, in case it's the end of the world.
We need to know if it's the end of the world. We'll just hurry up the murders and get out.
Yeah.
We can't just leave them hanging.
And that song says it's the end of the world and we know it.
I thought it was As We Know It.
No.
But we're going to have to look up another song.
Oh, no. Well, either way, it's something about knowing it. And if I don't know that it's the end of the world, then I can't sing that song.
How funny am I going to... I'm going to laugh at whichever one of us has been singing it wrong all these years.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it if it's me. But I like the way I sing it. So they need to change the words if it's wrong.
Okay. You keep going. I'm going to type into Google.
Okay, thank you. So, in the discussions with Dwight, he tells them about Blanche's long-term boyfriend that was an ex-boyfriend, and that he had actually died of really severe, he died of heart failure. Which one is it?
The name of the song. The name of the song by the wonderful band REM is It's the End of the World As We Know It.
But then how do they sing it? I know that's the title. Maybe they change the words when they sing it. Because I don't sing the title, I sing the words.
No.
Well, I'm going to have to write to REM and let them know that they need to change their words.
Well, the end of the world as we know it, but if
Either way, you got to know.
Yeah.
You got to know if it's the end of the world.
There's a big deal. There's a big difference between as we know it and we know
I
it.
figured the world was ending, that they were prophesying.
I think they're saying that things are changing. It's just changing.
Oh, I thought like it was really the end of the world and we're good.
No.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're all good with it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this whole time I thought they were like great prophesiers, prophecies, whatever they are.
No. All right, back to poor Rev.
All right, so he starts telling them about this weird stuff that happened to Blanche's ex, long-term boyfriend, Raymond Reid.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he had died under suspicious circumstances while Blanche and Dwight were dating. Dwight was dating Blanche at the time, but Raymond Reid had died during that time. And the reason that he knew that he was ill for a long time and in the hospital was because Blanche would go and see him, because they had a really long-term relationship. So, Dwight
still married her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, Blanche said he died of heart failure. And that she was just there because they had this long-term relationship. She wasn't still in love with him, but she was there as family. Like, she knew, like, he had been really good to her daughters. Her daughters visited him in the hospital. So, they broke up, but not on bad terms.
Right.
So, the police, again, tell Dwight that they've never seen so much arsenic in a person's body that was still living.
Too many crickets.
And the doctors confirmed it. So, Dwight continues to fight for his life despite severe organ failure, and his hands and feet actually went dead.
Oh, gosh.
And his fingernails, as they were growing, had white streaks in them that was a telltale sign of arsenic.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
Yes. But meanwhile, police start poking around about Raymond Reid's death.
Right.
So they go to the hospital where he died, and they interviewed the ICU nurses at North Carolina Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is, and he interviews the nurses that took care of them,
right,
of him. And they tell police about how Reid started to improve, and that upon improvement, Blanche had him sign a new will that they witnessed.
Oh, golly.
While he was still in the hospital, and it named Blanche as the executor and gave him a third of his estate. And a month later, Reid was still in the hospital recovering, and nurses observed Blanche feeding him some of her homemade banana pudding because he loved it.
Oh, Lord.
She offered some to the nurses from a separate container, but they all said no thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
6 days later, Reid dies from apparent heart failure.
Oh.
And so that's enough for police to think, perhaps we need to take another look at Reid.
Right.
So they go and exhume Raymond Reid.
Oh, wow.
And the autopsy reveals that he died of arsenic poisoning. He had 60 times more than the normal amount in his body.
Holy cow. She doesn't play.
Right. So they tell Dwight, and Dwight still doesn't believe it.
For heaven's sakes, Dwight.
Right. So police start poking around into Blanche's history. So Blanche had spent 32 years in Alamance County, North Carolina. She worked at Kroger as a checker. She was very beloved by her customers and coworkers.
Okay.
People in the community described her as a sweet Christian lady.
Okay.
People in her inner circle had their doubts.
I'm sure.
So back when Blanche was 19, her womanizing father divorced her mother in search of a younger woman. He remarries and becomes a devoted preacher. And at the age of 62, he suddenly passes away from what is determined to be heart disease.
Okay.
By then, Blanche had settled down and was married to James Taylor. Not our James Taylor.
Oh, I was like, wait.
No, not the James Taylor that wrote all the great songs.
Right.
No, thank God. 7 years into their marriage, Taylor suddenly dies at the age of 45 of a heart attack in his sleep.
Oh, bless his heart.
So poor Blanche is a widow at age 40. But she has plenty of suitors coming around. So she begins...
For all her good cooking.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
she's got that Southern charm, girl.
Yeah, she's
got that Southern
great
charm.
cooker.
She's a great Southern cook. So Blanche begins dating a coworker at Kroger named Raymond Reid. He was a divorced manager and worked at the Kroger in Burlington where Blanche worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like an office romance.
Kind of, but more of a grocery store romance. So Reid was very good to Blanche's two daughters. And they absolutely adored him. So her work life was pretty interesting, a little tumultuous. According to Kroger Corporate, she was a great worker and a good leader and always got high praise on her evaluations.
Great.
She was the one that trained the new checkers when they came aboard. And she was great at her job. They had nothing bad to say. But her coworkers said if you ever got on her bad side, she became incredibly vindictive.
Oh, my.
She held a grudge, and she was very two-faced. Most coworkers just tried to steer clear. So, October 1985, there's a company official, a top manager, visiting the Burlington store.
Right.
And Blanche says that he began making sexual advances toward her.
Uh-oh.
Unwanted. One day, he cornered her in a conference room, naked from the waist down.
Why was she naked from the waist down?
No, he was.
Oh, I was like, why would she be at work naked from the waist down?
She's not. He is.
Oh, my.
And he came after her saying, "Are you ready for this?"
Oh.
That's what he said.
Supposedly.
This is according to Blanche.
Okay.
Blanche grabs his pants and underwear off the floor and runs out of the store.
Oh, my.
And reports what has happened. And that manager had to leave the store in a butcher smock.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he was in trouble. So Blanche never goes back to work. She files a $15 million sexual harassment lawsuit against Kroger, citing that it has caused her anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, right before that happened, in April of that year, so that all happened in October of 85.
Uh-huh.
In April of 85, right before this incident happened, a relative of hers took her to an Easter service at the Carolina United Church of Christ.
All right.
The preacher there was a divorced man with 2 kids named Dwight Moore.
Ah.
Yes. And Blanche was sweet on him from the beginning.
Well, sure. I mean, you're always looking for a nice man at church, right?
I agree. They say you meet your best men at church.
That's what they say.
Well, I think that could be true, but I'm thinking Moore didn't meet his best woman at church.
Right.
So, unaware of Blanche's ongoing long-term relationship with Raymond Reid that is still going on, he starts to court Blanche. He calls her quite often, and he leaves notes on her door at home, like little sweet notes to her. And eventually, she agrees to start dating Moore. She never mentions her long-term relationship with Raymond Reid. Okay?
All right.
But she starts to date him. So in May of 1986, Raymond Reid enters the hospital very ill.
Oh, I see here.
See where we're going?
We got a little pattern going.
Severe nausea and vomiting. Dwight said Blanche visited Reid several times in the hospital. She says because they had dated so long, she had formed a long-term friendship with him.
Okay.
And her girls really loved him, and so she was just trying to be supportive of him.
Right.
That's what she told Dwight.
Of course.
Reid is in the hospital thinking he's still dating this woman, and that's why she's coming around so much.
Oh, Lord.
Right. So she has not been honest with either one of them. He has no idea that Raymond Reid has no idea he's actually her ex.
Oh.
He thinks he's the current. If he had realized it, perhaps he would not have changed his will.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Even though Blanche said he knew, but he changed his will anyway, because he just loved me. September 21st, 1986, Reid starts to recover and shows signs of being able to beat this mysterious disease.
Yeah.
Okay? That's when he signs the new will. And by October 1st, Reid is dead from an apparent heart failure from his mysterious disease.
Right.
Okay? So, dun dun dun. Blanche receives over $60,000 in life insurance and estate payments after Reid's death.
Wow.
She really benefited for that.
She certainly did.
Yes. Okay. July of 1987, Blanche accepts a settlement from Kroger of $275,000. So, she's living large in Alamance County, North Carolina.
Yes, she is.
So now, with all of this information on the history of what Blanche has been up to, police become suspicious of anybody in Blanche's life that might have died suspiciously.
Right, yeah. What's the...
So they start digging up graves all over the county.
Lord have mercy.
And people are coming out of the woodwork saying, my husband died suspiciously too. You need to exhume his body.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Or my husband or my daughter or my whoever, they said it was a heart attack or heart failure or heart disease. Pull them up too out of the ground. I mean, it's crazy. So in July of 1989, they go back and exhume James Taylor's body, Blanche's first husband. They redo an autopsy, and it reveals he actually died from arsenic poisoning.
For heaven's sake, where is she getting the arsenic?
It's called anti-ant. She gets it from this one store all the time, and she tells the clerk, keep it socked, it works like a charm.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. 2 weeks after they reveal the real death of James Taylor, Blanche is arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder and one count of assault with a deadly weapon, and that's the poison.
Right.
On Dwight.
Ooh, deadly weapon poison. Love it.
Mm-hmm. I know, I didn't realize that poison could be a deadly weapon, but I guess that's what they call it in Alamance County, North Carolina.
There you go.
Yes.
Whatever works, right?
Whatever works. So 3 days after they charge Blanche with those 2 counts of murder, they go and exhume the body of Blanche's father and Blanche's mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law was the mother of James Taylor.
Oh.
Okay?
We didn't like her.
I guess. I mean, some people don't like their MILs. I don't know.
Right.
Autopsy reveals elevated levels of arsenic in both of them, but not lethal.
Ah.
So, they don't charge it with anything. In August of 1989, Blanche pleads not guilty to all charges. I'm just saying.
Go, Blanche. Go, Blanche, go.
It's your birthday. Go, Blanche. It's your birthday. It's not your birthday. You're just guilty. October of 1990, the trial begins for the charge of murder of Raymond Reid.
Murder.
So they're gonna go with that one first.
Okay.
Okay. So Dwight at this point summons the strength to show up for trial, even though at this point he is still recovering. He is still trying to regain the use of his hands and feet, and he is very, very frail. He decides to go to trial, and he testifies against Blanche.
Good.
Because he finally figured out, duh. Okay. So, the judge also allows the prosecution to present the poisoning cases of Dwight and the suspicious deaths of her ex-husband, her father, and her ex-mother-in-law.
Right.
So
they get to hear about
that. They
that.
get to hear about that in the trial. Yes, which I thought was really...
I think her sip is sunk.
Girl, your sip is sunk.
Her sip is sunk. There's no coming back from
Is there liquor in there? I just got tea in my cup. I didn't get any kind of liquor.
I didn't have enough tea for me, so I had to put something in my cup.
Oh, my. Okay, so November 14th, 1990, the jury convicts Blanche Taylor Moore of first-degree murder of Raymond Reid. November 16th, 1990, the jury sentences Moore to death.
What?
To the death.
Wow.
So, December 4th, Dwight Moore files for divorce from Blanche.
That's probably a really good idea.
Poor Dwight. He's really been through it, too.
Yeah.
Bless his little heart. So, May 3rd, 1993, there is a TV movie that comes out starring Elizabeth Montgomery from Bewitched.
Right.
She plays Blanche in the movie Black Widow Murders, the Blanche Taylor Moore story.
Wow.
I know.
Look at that.
But Blanche is never tried for any of the other victims. And this is what bothers me. I get it. They're saying they spent $1 million on the first trial. She got the death penalty. But I just get nervous with all of these overturning the death sentences. Yeah. And then it becomes life and not life without parole because they only killed one person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe if they had tried her and convicted her of multiple deaths, then, she gets 3 death sentences, but if it's ever overturned, surely they're not going to let her get parole.
Right.
And that's what makes me really nervous.
Right.
So your dog is very upset about this. And I don't blame you, Trout. They should have, let's just face it, they should have done something. So, but there's more.
There's more?
Now, she's still on death row at the North Carolina Correctional Institute for Women, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina. So you and I can go and visit with old Blanche anytime.
Well, let's take her some banana pudding.
I think we'll take her some banana pudding. Maybe we'll make that on our podcast and then truck it on over there.
There you go.
So by the year 2000, she has exhausted all of her appeals.
Right.
Please say something to your dog.
Trout, you're a dog and you make noise.
No, that's not what we're saying.
What do you want me to say?
Hush.
He can't even see me.
Trout, hush. You be quiet.
He's very upset by that.
You be quiet right now.
Well, that's enough.
Well, he keeps going.
So do you.
Well, because I have a photo. They're not tuning in to hear his whiny.
I think they do.
No, they don't. He's on my nerves. Trout.
Just ignore him.
I can't. 2010. Blanche asks for her sentence to be converted to life, but she's denied. Denied. So, I'm going to tell you about the alleged victims of Blanche Taylor Moore.
Why are you saying alleged?
Well, because she wasn't convicted on anything else.
Right.
So, we've got her first husband, James Taylor. 1973, he died. She was charged for his murder, but never tried.
Right.
1989, Dwight Moore. She was charged of assaulting him with the deadly poison, but never tried for that.
Oh.
The Reverend Parker Kaiser Sr. was Blanche's dad. He's the one that they dug up, and there was not enough to say it was a lethal amount of arsenic in his body, although there was elevated amounts.
Right.
Isla Taylor, who was Blanche's mother-in-law, died in 1970, so she died before James died.
Wow.
And when they exhumed her, again, high levels of arsenic. High levels.
There's your bourbon.
Of arsenic.
There it is.
There's the bourbon.
The whole time.
It was not lethal. And then there's Lillian Taylor Stewart, who was the sister of James, who died in 72 of an unknown illness.
Oh, so he was like, she's getting rid of the whole family.
But her body was never dug up.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who speculate that, she had all these people die like ba-da-doom, ba-da-doom, ba-da-doom.
Right.
And they're thinking at the hands. So Joseph Mitchell died in 1985, and he was a co-worker of hers. His body was exhumed because his wife said he knew her. And I'm just saying, they said it was heart disease, and I don't believe them. And they said, nope, there's no arsenic in him. And that's the point where they stopped digging people up.
Right, because they're like, we could be digging up
everybody. And it's a hit or miss at this point. She's got death, so whatever. So that's the end of the story of Blanche. But I got to tell you about the prosecutor.
Oh.
This prosecutor is interesting. Her name was Janet Branch. Okay. She almost caused a mistrial because of her outbursts of crying and sobbing during the trial.
What?
So she would talk about the suffering of the victims and she would talk about Reid laying in bed and being upset that his girlfriend hadn't come to see him yet while she's at home making the banana pudding and putting the arsenic in it to come and kill him.
Okay.
And he was so in love with her that he was actually waiting for his murderer to come to kill him. And she would break down and
dramatic.
Yes, and she would break down and sob. And they, twice, the defense motioned for a mistrial, and the judge had to talk to her and said, "You need to get it together."
Oh my!
She was sobbing.
She's very passionate about her people.
I guess. But then in October of 1991, so let's see, she is convicted in 1990. In October, the trial starts. November, she's convicted and sentenced. Okay?
Okay.
October of 91, so it's a year later. This Janet Branch was arrested and charged for hitting her husband with a tire iron.
What?
I'm not kidding. What's happening?
I don't know.
It's the craziest thing. And then in February of 1993, the North Carolina State Bar reprimands Janet Branch for trying to court a TV movie deal while the trial was still going on.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. October of 2015, Janet Branch Downing, because she was married, she committed suicide by stepping into traffic on Interstate 485 in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Lord have mercy.
It makes you wonder if this trial did not make her crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But, I was just floored by that information.
She also got poisoned by arsenic and went crazy.
I don't know, perhaps. Did she eat any banana pudding?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or a chicken sandwich.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, that blew my mind. It was one thing to go through the whole thing with Blanche and all her shenanigans.
Right.
But then this prosecutor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She loses her marbles just a year after the trial is over.
Holy crap.
Actually, while the trial is going on, because she's trying to get up on TV.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
It's like the OJ trial before the OJ trial ever existed.
I know.
Actually, was this around the same time as OJ?
I don't know. When was OJ? This was in the 80s? 90s?
This was 80s and 90s. No, he was a little bit further than that. He was further along. 96, maybe 95, 96, 97, something. Anyway, I just thought that was...
That's insane.
Yeah, I was godsmacked over that one. Over Janet Branch.
Janet Branch.
Yeah.
Well, it was the end of the world.
As she knew it.
She knew it.
She knew it.
She knew.
See how much better that sounds?
No.
Yeah, it's the end of the world and we know it. And we feel fine about it. Because we are right with Jesus and we are good.
We're good.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Great story.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. What's happening with them lemon bars? Because it smells something.
Well, they're not lemon for one.
Well, they're not.
They're key lime.
So stop saying lemon. You're upsetting me and Trout.
There's 3 minutes left on the crust.
Okay.
Once the crust comes out, then you pour your bar mix on top of that.
I like a bar mix. I like it when they have the pretzels and the peanuts in it. The bar mix. I like that. I really like that.
And then it goes back in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes. So.
Oh, that sounds like that's just enough time to tell a murder.
It is. It is just
seems
enough.
Seems like it's a perfect timing.
So maybe this is a good time to take a pause.
Yeah, so we can get right with your dog.
Okay.
And maybe I can tinkle.
Okay.
All right, we're going to pause and pause.
Okay.
And we're back. And before we get started with your murder, Sugar, I want to give a shout out to the person that actually gave me the murder on Blanche, the murders of Blanche, the case.
Right.
And it's my friend Robin, and I went to high school with her. And
I know her.
I
went to the same high school as you.
Shut up. And she now lives in that area. So that's how she knows so much about that.
Gotcha.
So she sent me the articles and stuff on it.
Nice.
It was really nice. So I just wanted to let you know.
I love when a fan reaches out, even if they went to high school with you and they are your friend.
I would say she's a friend before a fan because I'm sure she listens, but I don't know if she's an avid listener. I don't want to pin that on her.
No, it's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to be my friend.
Yes, well, yes. And to be a fan, because I'll be the first to ask when we're with a fan, what's your favorite episode?
Exactly.
Because I want to know if you're telling the truth. If you say, it's the Women Bars episode, I know you're a liar. Because that was our first episode.
And you've not listened since.
Yes. If you didn't like the one where we were drunk stupid.
If that's not your favorite, then you're not a fan.
You're not, no.
Or you're at least not a listener.
Exactly.
All right. So I just wanted to get that in.
Oh, good.
All right.
Thank you for infringing on my time.
Give me a murder.
Well, first I'm going to tell you that the key lime bars are in the oven.
Oh, yeah. I smell them. They smell real good.
But here's the thing that bothers me, and I know I talked about this with the lemon bar episode. You can't taste this batter before you put it in, so I never know, is it limey enough? Do you need just a little titch more?
Did I forget the sugar? Which would be what I would do.
Yeah. Well, with these, I think you know, it's only 3 things in the batter.
Hey, listen.
You never know. So anyway, we'll see how they turn out. Hopefully they'll be good.
Well, they smell delish, and I was the one that brought the crust out of the oven, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
It was golden just on the edges. It was perfect.
Can't go wrong with butter. 2 sticks of butter. There's 2 sticks of butter in the crust.
So right there, they're yummy.
I could just take, if I didn't like it, take the filling off and eat the crust.
Just eat the crust, because that's got powdered sugar, flour, and butter.
That's right.
Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Heaven. Oh, speaking of which, if y'all don't know it, the Great British Baking Show is back on.
Yes, it is.
One of our favorite shows to watch.
It's I think it's what inspired us to do this baking thing.
I think so too. We really got into it because that's when we decided, okay, instead of birthday presents for our birthdays, we're going to bake each other a dessert.
Yes, and then we started pulling recipes off of that show.
You went crazy and came up with like the craziest recipe with 43 steps.
And you nailed it, Sugar. You nailed it.
And I would love to do it again, but God, it takes too long.
It does take a long time. That would have to be a 2-parter.
No.
And this week, Anne's still making her princess cake.
Yeah.
That she started a week ago.
Yeah.
No.
We'll have to look at other things. But I just love that. I don't know.
I love the atmosphere of it.
Setting.
I do. I just, everything about it is
love
beautiful.
those doors, those oven doors that open and fold underneath.
Oh, and I love the refrigerators.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
They're adorable.
I fall in love with the contestants instantly.
I know.
I just adore all of them. And then they've got a new host this year who is so funny.
He's
and
hysterical.
I keep thinking I know him from somewhere. Like, I feel like I know him in my personal life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's been in my personal life. But it turns out he hasn't been.
No.
But little does he know he might be later.
I don't think we have a single friend that's British. Not one.
Oh, man, if anybody out there is British, could you just email us at murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com and be our friend?
I know. That'd be nice.
I would like to have an Irish friend, a Scottish friend, and an English friend.
If for nothing else, to practice our accents.
Or for them to hear how good my accent is. My Southern Irish accent.
Now, I would take a trip when all of the craziness is over. I would go to London.
I would go to London, Scotland, and Ireland. I don't even know if I want to go to London. I think I'd like to see some of the English countryside that's not like the city of London. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather see like they have beaches in England.
Oh.
Like, I would like to go to some of the, like where Broadchurch, was that the name of it?
Yeah.
Was filmed. Like, I would love to go and see some of those areas. London, I'm sure I could spend a day or a week or whatever, but I'm saying I would like to see some of the English country all together, all of it.
I agree. And a lot of people want to go because they want to see Wimbledon. That's like a big thing. I would like to go see the Great British Baking Show.
Me too.
If they sold tickets to that or whatever.
Stop it. I would totally stalk Mary, Barry, Paul. I'll stalk all of them. I'll find out where they live.
Heck yeah.
And that's where we're going. We're just going to go on a baking tour.
And now we've been uninvited.
No, we won't really do that wink, wink, nod, nod. We would never.
We would definitely.
I'm working on it right now.
That's right.
I'm Googling where does Paul, what's his name? Paul?
Hollywood.
Paul, how could I forget that? Where does Paulie Hollywood?
Well, if you call him Paulie, he's not going to answer the door.
I almost called him Pollywood.
Oh
have mercy.
Again, uninvited.
Oh, all right, fine. Mary, Barry, we're coming to find you.
Here we come.
And don't get me started with Prue, because I love me some Prue.
Oh my gosh,
I love
me
Prue.
too.
She has the greatest glasses.
She does.
She makes me want to go and just get all those color glasses and just coordinate my outfits with them.
I agree.
Maybe one day when I'm rich and famous, that's what I'll be known for.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be like next week sometime.
Well, won't that be fancy? Hey, girl, give me murder.
I'm going to give you murder.
Yeah.
This one's insane.
Okay.
I have managed to find another insane case. I don't know how it happened.
Please tell me there's not a head boiling on the stove.
There is not a head boiling in the stove.
Or baking in the oven.
And there's not one baking in an oven.
Thank God. Okay, I think
As a matter of fact, it doesn't even take place in a kitchen.
Oh, thank the good Lord.
Yeah. And it's actually going to take me a little bit to get to the murder. There's
there's like a whole story going on, a story within a story.
You're going to love it. You're just going to love it.
Give it to me.
All right.
Give it to me.
So, it's a beautiful September, 1999.
Oh, this is September.
It is.
That's fancy.
It takes place in Jericho, New York, which is not far from Manhattan.
Manhattan.
I will say I did not use the name of the homeowners in this particular story because I did not feel like I needed to drag them back into the horror.
Oh.
So I called them Dick and Jane.
Okay, Dick and Jane.
Dick and Jane are getting ready to sell their house.
Of course.
Yes. They've lived in their house for 10 years and they're ready for a change. So Dick is doing the final walkthrough with the real estate broker and the potential buyer. You know, it's never really a deal until you're at the closing table, and they are doing an inspection on the outside of the house, and they come to the back of the house, and there's a crawl space. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about a crawl space, for me, I've never owned a home, but for me, what I think of when I think about a crawl space is something that you either have to crawl under to get under your house. There's some that are so low you actually cannot stand up. You're on your belly. And I've seen the tallest one I've seen, you would have to be on your hands and knees. You still couldn't really stand up.
In Maryland, ours, you could, for part of it, you could stand up in it.
Right.
And then it got lower and lower. And so by the time you were at the kitchen, you were really like almost crawling.
Right.
But you could get there.
Right. But to get in, you had to bend over and crouch. You couldn't just walk through.
No, there was a small door that you had to crouch and get under. Right. But then once you were under that door, you could stand up.
So for this one, it's under like a screen-in porch. And you can, like you and I would only have to bend a little bit to get under it. Even like a 10-year-old could walk in there easily. So it's not like...
So it's like maybe a 5-foot clearing.
Right. And they used it to store like coolers and beach chairs.
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they get to that crawl space and the buyer says, I want you to clean it out. Like it needs to be cleaned out.
Yeah, don't leave your junk here.
Don't leave your stuff here. And it did kind of irk Dick a little bit because he knew he was going to get some stuff, but there was this freaking barrel that had been there since he moved in that he's just like, I don't even want to have to deal with that.
He inherited that problem, and he was hoping that people wouldn't notice and would just inherit it from him.
Exactly. Because, I mean, what do you do with it? So anyway, he's not too happy about it, but he's like, okay, I'll leave it broom clean. So it's, it's a clean area. And, he's got all of his stuff out, and he goes in, and he goes to move this barrel. And it's a 50-gallon metal barrel. So it's not like an oak barrel or whatever. It's like a drum.
So it wasn't bourbon.
It was not bourbon.
Damn.
It was not bourbon.
Aged 50 years. He found it under his crawl space. And now he's a millionaire.
A millionaire. Oh, my gosh. He can't move it because it's really heavy.
Oh, wow.
So he's thinking, I'm going to see if the movers who helped us move, like he's in the process of moving. So he's like, I'm going to get the movers to come back over and have them move this drum for me.
Okay.
Or barrel. They call it a barrel. I would call it a drum. A metal drum.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Okay. He calls the movers. They come over. They move the barrel to the edge of the driveway.
Okay.
And that's where it would need to be for sanitation to come and pick it up.
Yes.
The next day, sanitation comes. They go to the barrel. They try to pick it up, but it's too heavy. So they leave a note for Dick in his mailbox saying, dude, we can't move this barrel. It's too heavy. We'll get rid of it for you, but you need to lighten the load.
They're like, hey, Dick.
Hey, Dick. Right.
Lighten your barrel, Dick.
Exactly.
Spill the contents, Dick.
Right. So Dick is like, what the hell? Here I've got.
Yeah, I'm trying to move. I'm trying to get my house sold.
There's so much stress that is going on.
Moving to another house, obviously.
Right. He's got one foot out the door. It's like for me, a lot of people save. I don't do this anymore. It's actually the first thing I move now. They save their clothes. They're picking up clothes for last.
No, you do
it
it
first.
And
it's such a pain in the butt because your hangers are
and they're so heavy and awkward, and by then you're exhausted.
Right, and you're thinking,
I'm just throwing my clothes away.
If I have to move one more wool coat in the summertime, I'm going to die.
And you really think about, God, I think I'd rather just put it in a dumpster or put it in a trash bag.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and now he's got to deal with this barrel that's not his.
Yeah.
But it's been left for him to deal with.
Absolutely. Pain in the ass.
Right. He's not happy, but he grabs a neighbor and says, hey, can you help me open this barrel? I got to open it.
I don't even know how to open it. That's a mighty big can opener.
I know, and it's sealed. So I would think like he would open a can of paint, maybe. The neighbor brings over a screwdriver because I guess Dick didn't have one.
Well, no, he has one. It's packed in at the other fucking house.
Right.
Sorry. It's at the house.
That's right.
It's at the new house.
It's in the new house. So
Damn it.
Neighbor brings over the screwdriver and they're trying to flip it. I'm using my hand. Y'all can't see.
Yeah, you can't see, but she's really opening the hell out of this.
Open the barrel and I have a hard time even opening paint cans.
Yeah.
It's such a tiny little lid.
Yeah, and you got to do you have to go around it. It's not just one pump.
Such a pain.
You got to loosen.
So imagine you're doing this to like a ginormous barrel.
trying to balance
on moving
it.
Day.
Oh,
good grief!
I'm pissed off for Dick.
I know. They crack the seal. They take off the lid, and immediately they are both overcome with this vile odor coming out of this barrel.
Oh God, I can only imagine. It's been sitting under there forever.
Forever. Because he's been in the house for 10 years.
Kentucky Fried Chicken that has gone really, really bad.
Right, or like oil, or who knows?
Anything.
Something.
Yeah.
It
Trash. It could have just been trash because it's been sealed.
It's sealed.
So it just rotted within itself.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be sick.
Plus, he has no idea how long the barrel's been there.
Yeah.
He's been there for 10 years. And it was there when he moved in.
Oh, gosh.
So, gross.
And it's not bourbon.
It's not. From the smell of it, I don't think it's bourbon. So they both kind of take a step back and then they actually take a step forward and lean to look what's in the barrel.
Oh, God.
And this big green blob of a bubbles up like this.
Oh, my God. I'm going to be sick. Oh, I can't drink my tea now.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Oh,
it's so gross. And
You're hurting me.
I have to tell you, I got this story from Buried in the Backyard. You have to watch it. When I'm done, I'll tell you.
I shan't.
Because they show actual photos of this freaking barrel.
No.
Well, as they're looking in this big bubble pops.
That's disgusting. Oh my God.
They happen to see.
I mean, what if it splashed on them?
I know.
It got in their mouth. Oh, God. Oh, no.
So they happen to see.
I got the chills. I'm going to be so. Oh, my God.
Oh, the barbs are ready.
Thank God. I'm going to take a freaking break. Holy
crap.
Right.
Let me get through this. Please.
Okay, I just need to concentrate on something else for a minute.
Well, they can clearly see that there is a freaking hand, a human hand in the barrel at the top.
So ill. In the green goo.
In the green goo, and it's still got a fingernail on it. It's like,
God! Please stop it! Please stop it! Please stop it!
I'm not gonna. You're upsetting my dog.
You're upsetting me.
Oh my God! I would have passed out. They would have had to remove me via ambulance.
Oh, shut up. First of all, as soon as I opened it up and there was a smell, I'd have done passed out and gotten the
Oh, Lord.
And then I'd run right down the street. I said, I'm not having it. I'm not being a part of it. I'm not doing it.
I don't care if the house sells. I don't care about that freaking barrel anymore.
Burn the whole damn house down. I don't care. Because I'm not, if it smells, I can't deal with it. And then the goo. Oh, the goo.
So Dick runs inside and he calls the police and tells them,
in your goo.
I may or may not have just uncovered a dead body in my yard.
With a freaking fingernail on it. Oh, God.
And like I said, they show it. They actually show the picture.
No, I'm so glad I did not watch this. I would have been horrified.
Oh, my God, you have to watch it.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. I cannot.
I'll send you pictures.
Don't you dare.
Oh, my gosh, it's crazy.
That's torture.
So, the police and the detectives get there, and all they've heard is some guy has called and said that he may or may not have a dead body in his yard.
Oh.
They don't know the full story of there's a barrel with green goo, and we've seen a human hand in it.
If you don't stop saying that, I can't even deal with it.
So the detective walks over to the barrel, takes the lid off, and he sees the human hand. There are no bones. But it is a human hand, perfectly preserved.
Wait, how does it not have any bones?
So you would think it would be skeletal remains, right? But
this is a hand with no bones.
No,
that's really weird.
No, this is a hand like you're looking at my hand
with the fingernails.
Only it's got a little tint to it.
It's good. It's really good.
It's got a little discoloration.
Oh my God! Oh God! It's so vile. Sugar.
And he also can see a shoe.
The next one you do has to have something to do with flowers, fresh flowers.
This one has to do with flowers.
No.
It does.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's so gross.
Yeah. So this barrel weighs over 300 pounds. And the detectives
have to
take it. Right. What the hell? What's in this barrel?
Oh my God.
They got to get it to the medical examiner's office.
This is the time you cry, buddy. This is the one that you cry about, because this is horrible. He's just sleeping right through it.
Well, he doesn't know what's happening with you. So they had to get like a lift, a medical lift to come and lift it because it was so heavy.
This is a nightmare.
Oh, you've not heard the half of it.
Oh, I think I have.
They get it to the medical examiner's office so they can figure out what's going on here. They put down a big white tarp and they turn the barrel on its side.
No, this is the day I quit my job as a medical examiner.
Well, the smell was so bad, everybody in the room had to have on a gas mask. Like a full on, not just like a mask that we're wearing, like a respirator. Gas mask.
Yeah.
Because the smell was so bad.
Oh my God.
And this green fluid runs out of the barrel. Also, these tiny little plastic pellets. So, just to let you know, this is something I did not know that I found out. When a body decomposes, the liquid that comes out of the body is typically clear.
Oh, I would never have thought that.
So
I would have thought it would have been like
goo. Right, no.
Like
it's
yellowish,
clear. Right.
Like nasty,
pussy
looking shit.
No, it's not. It's clear.
Ugh.
So it shouldn't have been green.
No. Oh.
They take the fluid, they take samples from the fluid, they take the pellets, and they send them to the lab to be tested to try and figure out what are we looking at here. Now they have to figure out what else is in there.
No.
So they tip the barrel back.
No.
Again, but the body's so in there, they can't get it out.
It's jammed up in there?
Yeah, it's jammed. It's jammed.
Oh, for the love of God.
So they finally are able to wiggle it
What
out.
did they use to wiggle that stuff out?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm not even sure I want to know.
I can't get past
Anyway, it comes out. It comes out.
Stop making that noise.
All in one piece.
Oh. That's just gross.
The damn body,
one big gelatinous piece.
was a mummy. It had been mummified. Wow. So what you have, and again, they show this on the show I was watching.
I'm not watching it.
The lady is, well, I've given it away. It's a lady.
Okay, well, it was either a lady or a man.
She's got her knees up to her chest, her legs, her feet are bound. She was upside down in the barrel.
Oh, gosh. She was like
an
egg.
She was very petite. She was a petite woman, so she fit nicely in the barrel, I guess. But
just perfectly, I guess.
The skin was like leather, but fully intact, and the body was fully clothed. So it's not like a naked skeletal remains. This is a fully intact, mummified body.
Oh, that's one hell of a seal on that barrel. I don't know who makes them, but good on you for a good seal.
So the medical examiner is able to determine that the body was that of a female in her mid to late 20s, early 30s. And her clothes were straight out of the 60s. Straight out of the 60s. Her hair was still intact, except for a spot on the back of her head where she had these gaping wounds.
Oh.
So obviously she had been struck multiple times in the back of the head, and that's how she died.
Oh, my.
I thought it was really interesting, though, that her hair was still there except for where these wounds were.
That's weird.
It was gone. The whole story, you're going to find that it's like somebody or something from beyond is just handing out this information. It's crazy. It's just, wait until you hear it. It's mind-boggling. So her teeth were still intact in her mouth, and she had several gold teeth in the front.
Okay.
Off to the side, not like her front. But gold teeth were not typically used in dental work in the U.S.
Oh.
So they knew that perhaps she was from another country.
Wow.
Good information.
Okay.
The medical examiners start doing a deep investigation on the body. As they began to dissect and peel back this layer of leathered skin, they get to her abdomen and they find a perfectly encased skeletal remains of a fetus.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my God, she was pregnant?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know what you were going to say, like a completely, like her dinner was still in there.
Was still
like
in
a
there.
Whole chicken.
A whole chicken came out. No. A fetus they determined to be 9 months old at the time of death.
Oh my God. 9 months gestation?
Gestation. Yeah, like ready to be born.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Imagine what they're thinking.
They're thinking, this is the case of my life.
Right. Oh my God. What about
but I also have PTSD from it.
It's all so very tragic. It is so very tragic, but I found it to be fascinating.
It is fascinating how well preserved everything is.
Because whoever did this was not thinking, I'm going to stick this body in a barrel and it's going to become preserved.
They thought they were going to turn it into goo.
Right. It's going to disintegrate and go away. Nobody's ever going to find out. Well, guess what?
I'm telling you, Karma, she is very patient.
Yes, she is. She certainly is. So, all right, this is what they know. We've got a 20 to 30-year-old woman, 9 months pregnant, from another country, possibly could have been murdered 30 years ago.
Oh, and she's got gold teeth.
And she's got gold teeth, right. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, along with some other odds and ends, this woman's purse is in the bottom of that barrel.
Are you kidding me?
So they couldn't find, there was like an eye pencil, a brow brush, a compact mirror.
All things that are necessary for the purse.
Not identification.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately. But there was an address book.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Was it preserved?
No.
Oh, dear.
It was so saturated that you could have put your hand through it.
Oh.
But the detective said, listen, we're going to send it to our crime lab anyway and see if there's anything they can do with it so we can try and figure out who this poor woman is, right? This is where technology blows my mind. And this is back in 1999, remember?
Wow.
So I can't even imagine how far we've become now.
Yeah, and we're partying like it's 1999.
Yes, it's the end of the world, and we know it.
We know it.
We do.
We're good. We're fine.
So they take this book and they put it in this big dryer, like a dryer, not like a tumble dryer, but a dryer, like a kiln almost that you would stick things in, not to burn, but to dry.
Like to bake it dry, air dry.
Right. Something else they find in the barrel. Plastic leaves, like from an arrangement of plastic flowers.
Oh.
These are the green stems with leaves on them.
Okay.
They found those in the barrel, which was different.
Odd.
Interesting, right? They're going to play a big part
Okay.
into figuring out what the heck happened here.
Oh.
Back to the book. They're trying to dry it out, and they are actually they've gotten to a point where they dried it out enough and they can open the cover.
Okay.
They open the cover and there's an alien registration number. So alien as in somebody from another country that comes in and registers in the United States. The United States gives them a number.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't? It's like their social security number.
Okay.
So they have an alien registration number that they get. That means that you're in the country legally.
Okay.
We're tracking you by this number.
Okay.
So they take that number to immigration and they're able to figure out who they have.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
This is the importance of why we have these numbers and why we have like social security numbers and these, I didn't know, I don't think they're probably called alien registration numbers now. Do you think they are?
Yes, they are.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you still use that word? Because I thought that was,
No.
I don't know, whatever. So whatever.
Yeah.
But that's really important.
Yes.
You know, because you're documented to be here, but you're also documented so we can figure out who you are if we find you in a barrel.
Exactly.
So that's important to know.
Very important. Her name was Reina Angelica Marroquin, and she had come to America from El Salvador in 1966.
Wow.
Detectives continue on working out what happened to Reina. See, look, we're so far into this, and we don't even know what happened to her.
No, but at least we now know her name. Reina, bless your little heart. And your baby.
Right.
Oh.
They also start to do some deep dive into who lived in the house before Dick and Jane.
Yeah, I would imagine
we're going to want to know where
because they're saying she's been in there for like 30 years probably, and Dick only had it for 10.
That's right.
So who had it before?
Who had it before?
It's a little
Dick.
title researching going on.
And they're looking more closely at the barrel because it's got markings on it. There's numbers at the bottom of it, and there's a company also name on the barrel.
Okay.
For the company that manufactured the barrel.
Okay.
They were able to track down that company, believe it or not, still operating, still in business.
Love it.
It belonged to a company that dyed and manufactured plastics.
Oh, interesting.
And that particular barrel was made March of 1963 because it had a 36355, which meant March 1963, and it was a 55-gallon
Oh,
drum.
look at that serial number.
I know.
They mean something.
They do mean something, which is really great news.
Yeah.
Because this is how they're uncovering what the heck happened to poor Reina and her baby. Now, the lab has continued to work on this address book, and they have actually dried it out enough so that you can open it and read pages in the address book.
That is amazing.
There's some things in there, of course, that they couldn't read, but some places actually had full phone numbers.
Nice.
Detectives start calling the numbers. A lot of them, it's really old book.
Yeah.
A lot of them are
disconnected
or changed, but they actually hit pay dirt, and they get in touch with a woman named Kathy.
All right.
This, to me, is like divine intervention. To me, it's like the ghost of Reina has come in, and how does this happen that you can actually get a phone book, a paper phone book
that's been sitting in that goo for 30 years.
30 years.
And you can get a number out
at the bottom of a barrel, and you're able to dry it out enough to get actual phone numbers, contact numbers.
That's amazing.
An alien registration number out of it.
That it feels like Reina
is
saying it's time for people to know.
It's time. Yeah.
It's time. She thought maybe when Dick bought the house it was going to happen. It didn't happen.
Well, listen, I didn't really add this in my story, but Dick, in his interview, did mention that for the longest time they lived in that house, people said it was haunted.
Oh.
And he said once this all came about with the body in the barrel, he was like, now I get it. It really was haunted.
Yeah, it was Reina. She was reaching out. She needed somebody to know.
My question is, did the buyer actually buy the house?
After knowing all of this? Well, this is all going on, and that probably they hadn't gotten to any of this or even reported it to the public.
As soon as I found out there was a body in the barrel, I would have been like, oh, we got to go closing right now. Right today.
Yeah, I'm ready for closing
right now.
Yeah, I'm going to pay all your closing costs.
Right. We got to close on this house
Do now. I have a deal for you?
And he did say the day they found out about the barrel, his wife said, I will never set foot in that house again. And she didn't.
And
they got a hotel room until
I don't blame her.
Until they were done.
That's just freaky. Especially because they've been down there and they've seen the barrel. They've been around the barrel.
Their kids have played hide and seek behind the barrel.
See, that's the thing. It's not like it was just shoved into a closet and forgotten and nobody ever went in it or near it or saw it. The barrel was a part of their life.
It made me kind of start to think about all the paint cans in the houses that I've been in before that people have left behind.
And were there bodies in there?
And I never opened them. I never thought to open the paint cans, but I should have looked deeper.
No, because you would have had some, like a fingernail finger sticking up at you.
Maybe. I can't wait to show you the picture of this.
I will not look at it. You can't make me.
Okay. So, all right, we've got Kathy. Detectives go over. Oh, wait, did I finish telling you the story about? Oh, yeah.
We found Kathy's number.
We got Kathy's number. It's insane. They get Kathy on the phone, and she says, yes, I remember Raina. And they ask, can we come over and have a little chatty bit with you about Raina? Kathy said, I've wondered what happened to her for 30 years.
Oh, my gosh.
She has this incredible story. Raina had come over from El Salvador, and she and Kathy had connected. Kathy lived in Manhattan and was working in the garment district at a manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
And she helped get Raina a job.
Nice.
Because Raina was really into fashion, and it was a big deal for you to have a job in
the fashion
district. Garment district in New York.
Even if you were just sewing buttons, it didn't matter. You were in it.
Exactly. And Kathy and Raina got to be really close. Raina had shared with Kathy at the time that she had been dating a married man.
Oh, wow.
And Raina said that they would get together whenever the man's wife was out of town, and he would take her out on his boat and out to fancy dinners, and he really treated her well. But she had a big problem because she was living in a Catholic boarding house.
Oh.
And she had discovered that she was pregnant.
Oh.
Kathy is trying to kind of be a mentor. Like,
sure.
You need to end it. We need to get you somewhere where you can,
safely have the baby.
Safely have your baby. And she's kind of talking Raina through it. Raina's very upset, and she says, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where to find another place. And it was a struggle for her to find another place. The next thing Kathy knows, Raina's calling to say, you won't believe it, but Loverboy has put me up in an apartment in Hoboken, which is in New Jersey.
Oh.
Right. I got an apartment in Hoboken. He's paying for it. He's even taken me to the doctor for all of my baby visits.
Wow.
He's really, really treating me well.
Nice. Way to show up.
I know. So Raina gets to the point where she's about ready to have the baby. And Loverboy says, dude, I am not leaving my wife for you. And Raina had thought all along he
would be leaving. Well, of course. I thought that's where you were headed.
Right. Loverboy says, no, I'm not leaving my wife. Well, that really pissed Raina off. So she called Loverboy's wife and told her about the affair and about the baby.
So she told Kathy this?
She called the wife of Loverboy.
No, but Kathy knows this because Raina said this is what I did.
After she calls the wife and tells her what's happening, she freaks out and calls Kathy, and she said, oh, he's going to kill me.
Oh, gosh.
And Kathy said, no. Nobody's going to kill you. You're fine. I'm going to come pick you up and bring you back to my house.
Yeah.
Kathy lives in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like maybe, I don't know how far. It's not horribly far to Hoboken from Manhattan. But it takes time to get there. Well, Kathy leaves her house. She gets to Raina's place in Hoboken. She knocks on the door. There's no answer.
Oh, my God.
The door's unlocked. So she walks in and she's calling for Raina. Raina's not there. She walks into the living room or into the dining room, and dinner is on the table.
Oh.
And she touches the pan. Dinner's still hot. It's still warm.
Wow.
So she knows Raina
can't be far.
There are 2 place settings at the table, by the way.
Okay.
And Kathy said, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see if she comes back so I can get her out of here. Well, she waits for 3 hours and no Raina.
3 hours, wow.
She leaves Raina's place, goes to the police department.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I think that something bad has happened to my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Tells them what's going on. They said, well, she's only been gone for 3 hours. There's nothing we can do. This is 1960s, remember?
Yeah.
I think things are taken a little bit more seriously now.
I don't know. I guess it depends on where you are.
Right. Well, it gets worse.
Mm-mm.
Kathy then goes back to her place in Manhattan. The next day she gets up. She goes back to the police station. She says, okay, it's been 24 hours.
Plus 3.
Plus the 3 hours waited. And there's no Raina. Something really bad has happened. She's disappeared. But because she was not a family member of
she
Raina's,
couldn't start a missing person?
She couldn't file the missing person.
That's dumb. I hope we've changed that.
I don't know if we have or not, but I hope we have too. And that was it. Kathy's also an immigrant. So what else could she do? She left. That was it. She never heard from her again. That was the end of the story of Kathy and Raina.
Oh, gosh. So all that time, she was like, I wonder, did she have her baby? Did
right.
her boy run off with her?
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Wow.
Isn't that the craziest
And she just
story?
never heard from Raina again?
No, nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
That's just weird.
So, Kathy has told the detectives all of this information, and they're starting to put together the pieces of, okay, we got to figure out who else lived in this house before Dick and Jane, because more than likely, whoever it was that killed Raina lived in this house. Otherwise, why would that barrel be under the house?
Yeah, how would they have access?
So they go back through the records, and they find out that the second owner built an extension on the house, which was right above where the crawl space is.
Okay.
And they're thinking, okay, well, that's probably what happened. They go to the second owner. They start talking to him. They said, we know you built an extension. We found this barrel. And the second owner says, wait a minute. When I moved in, the extension was built, but in order for me to move in, I had to get a certificate of occupancy. That's why it looked like he's the one that built the extension, but he wasn't the one
But he didn't do the construction.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, he didn't do the construction.
But the other guy that did it didn't go through the right certification, so this guy then had to do it.
Right. And then he tells the detectives, but I do remember seeing that barrel.
Oh, gosh.
Right. So that just blows my mind. It is now gone from this guy's moved in. He's the second owner. So the first owner has left the barrel. Now the second owner has left the barrel. And poor Dick got handed the shirt in his straw.
A bag of poo.
Detectives started asking questions like, do you have any idea what kind of information can you give us on the first owner? The guy said, I remember his name was Howard Elkins. He was married with a couple of kids. And I remember that he was also the owner of some kind of a plastics flower manufacturing company in Manhattan. Bingo.
Voila.
Voila. Bingo. Right.
Wait.
That's it.
Did he own the company that made the barrel?
He owned the company that made the flowers.
Oh.
That made the plastic pellets are melted down into flowers.
Oh, that's what he did.
That's what he did, yes.
And then he used that company to dye the flowers and the stems and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and what came in the barrels was the dye.
Yes.
Look at what we've done. We figured it out.
And that's why the leaves were in there, because they probably were already in there dyeing, and then he put the Raina in there.
Yes.
What a mother flipper.
Right. Now we got to figure out where old Howie is.
Oh.
Have they find out that Howard owned the company with another guy? His last name is Gatlin. They go to Gatlin because they don't want to let Howard know yet until they've got all their ducks in a row. Gatlin is able to identify the barrel and said, yep, that's one of our barrels. He also confirms that the barrel held the dye and the pellets would have been the pellets that they used to make flowers. Mm-hmm. And then he even remembers when they asked that Howard kept a girlfriend and that she worked at the plant.
He had a side piece.
He had a side piece, which is exactly what they would have called him in the 1960s in New York, right? Yeah. A broad.
Oh my God, he had a broad.
He had a broad.
A side piece broad.
Yep.
My gosh.
And they said that Mr. Gatlin described Raina as if he were looking at a picture of her. She very detailed because she was a very beautiful woman, very petite.
And she was exotic. Because she was from where? Guatemala?
El Salvador.
Or El Salvador.
Yes.
Both beautiful people come from there.
Yes, they do. The evidence is all falling into place for them. So they start to hunt down old Howard. Howard is now in his 70s. He's retired and living the good life in Florida.
We're coming for you, Howie.
Like a lot of New Yorkers do, right?
Of course. He's a snowbird.
He's a snowbird. They go in and they talk to Howard, and he lies about everything. He looks at a picture of the barrel and says, no, my company didn't use barrels like that.
And they already know.
And he's like,
they already know, Howie.
I don't know anything about, that's not
the jig is up, Howie. Did. You're a big fat liar.
Lies about everything.
You know why? This blows my mind. Murderers lie.
They do, but
they lie.
He told the truth about one thing.
What?
He had a girlfriend.
He had a side piece.
He did say, I have a girlfriend. Yes.
Is his wife still living at this point?
I think that they didn't say. Oh, yeah, she is. She is still living at this point because while they're sitting with Howard, they're pressing him for a DNA sample because, right now it's a lot of circumstantial evidence to try and take this to court.
Yeah.
There's no proof that this is what he did, but they feel like if they can get DNA evidence to link him to the baby, that would be enough to bring him up on charges of murder.
I thought they were going to link him to the barrel.
No, there's nothing in the barrel that's got DNA in it except for that baby.
That baby.
So they want to get the DNA evidence from him, link him to the baby, and then they can charge him with murder. But it's not easy to get DNA evidence from people.
You have to have a warrant or they have to volunteer.
Right. They're trying to talk Howard into giving him this DNA sample. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Look what happened to OJ and that whole thing. Yeah, I just don't want anybody
with my people. DNA. They might clone me one day.
Exactly. But during the conversation, the phone rings, and it's Howard's wife. And she says, I'm on the way home from the grocery store. I'll be there soon.
Oh.
So he becomes undone and tells these investigators, you cannot be here when my wife gets home. She's not to know about any of this. You've got to go.
I'd have been like, I'll go meet her in the car.
Right. So investigators had to leave, right? Yeah. Because it's not like they had a warrant to get there. But they go, and these are guys from New York. They're in Florida doing this investigation too, remember?
They might stick out like a sore thumb.
Maybe.
Like they might have had like black socks and sandals on and a leather jacket and it was 95 degrees.
Right.
Yeah, and their lily white legs sticking out underneath some shorts.
Right, and a Hawaiian shirt.
And a Hawaiian shirt,
right.
Yeah. But they're like lily white.
Right. Yeah, like me.
Yeah, like me, transparent.
Yes. They leave the house and immediately go and apply for that warrant to get his DNA.
Well, they can do it now because he lied.
Because he lied.
Because murderers lie.
Yes, and they rush it through.
And they don't care. They just lie.
Didn't get the warrant until the following day.
Okay.
They're getting ready to go serve the warrant.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Palm Springs, they're in Palm Springs, Florida. The Palm Springs Police Department calls one of the detectives and says, hey, did you guys go and pick Howard up? And they said, no, we're getting ready to go. We haven't gone yet. The guy said, well, that's weird because his wife is on the phone and she can't find him.
Uh-oh.
Right.
He done flew the coop.
Right. Howard's gone missing. They can't find Howard.
Dirty bird.
I know. What a jerk. What a jerk.
He's a jerkwad.
like, I want to say they go on this big search for him, and it's several hours later, they get a frantic phone call from a neighbor, several houses down from where Howard lived. And he says, I have a friend who has killed himself.
Oh, God.
You've got to come quick. Well, Howard had gone and bought himself a shotgun and some ammo and kindly went to his friend's house, climbed in the back seat of one of that guy's vehicles.
No way.
And blew his brains out.
What
a friend.
Oh, my God.
What a great guy.
Listen, this guy's a jerk.
What a great guy.
I mean, Howard. Golly dang.
I know.
Oh, Howard. I'm at a loss for, they're going to come in a minute. The words are coming, but right now, how freaking Howard.
Right.
He's so gross. He did that to his friend.
Right.
Because he couldn't face his wife.
Right.
Because he is a philanderer.
Right. And a killer.
And a murderer.
Right.
And a barrel sealer.
And a baby killer.
Oh my God, he killed that baby. And the baby, was it his?
It was his.
Son of a biscuit.
The DNA came back and they were able to confirm that he was in fact the father.
I hope his wife did not give him a burial. I hope she just threw him out on the sidewalk and let the trash get him.
I doubt it. Because the wives, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. She knew. She had to know.
Well, she didn't know that he killed her. She probably thought he was cheating and probably had a really good indication that he had a side piece. It probably wasn't his first one.
Right. And then she thought the problem just disappeared.
And then the problem disappeared and she's like, okay, I'm going to go on with my happy life. This floozy must have found another guy.
Right.
And then you just go on. And so you know, but you don't know. Because if she had known he had murdered her and her baby, she might have had a whole different life with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I surely wouldn't have moved to Florida with him.
No.
No, unless I fed him to the gators.
Right. Then that would have been a good idea.
Yeah. Or bought a big old anaconda as a quote-unquote pet.
Right.
And then put it in the bed with him one night.
So now detectives have the terrible task.
This is a crappy ending.
Of trying to, it's actually a good ending.
Okay, well, this must not be the end.
This is not the end.
Because Howard has really let me down.
Howard's dead. Howard's not going to spend a day in jail. He took Howard's way out.
He really did.
No question about it.
Oh, my gosh.
The detectives now have got to try and figure out where Rena's family is.
Oh.
So that they can let them know what happened.
Yeah.
They are eventually able to find, and I say eventually, I think it was, all of this started in September. By October, this is over. So it's not like an extended whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They are able to find Rena's family, and they're living in El Salvador, and they let them know what happened to Rena, and they were so happy to hear because she had been writing them letters ever since she moved to New York, starting in 1966, and then one day they just stopped. They never heard from her again. Well, there's nothing they can do from El Salvador. Get in touch with her. Right. No way to find her, no way to do anything about it. No. So they just hoped that she had gone on to have a happy life. They had no idea. The crazy thing about this, and this gave me chills, the day that they went and found the family, they were having a huge celebration for Rena's mother. It was her birthday.
Oh, my
And if I'm not mistaken, she was turning like 90. She was older. And detectives came into the celebration, and I think it might have been a journalist that was able to finally relay all of the information because whatever. But he said, this is what happened to Rena. And she was pregnant. This is what happened to the baby. And we brought their ashes, their remains for you.
Yeah.
And the mother wept and just screamed, my angel, my angel. And she said that she had wondered for 30 years what had happened to her daughter, but that she had also had dreams for 30 years that her daughter was in a barrel going over a waterfall.
No. Oh, I just got all the chills.
Yeah.
I got all the chills.
So she had the vision that her daughter was in a barrel. And now she finally had peace.
and
closure. And 1 month after they gave Raina and the baby a proper burial, her mother passed away.
Because she was waiting. Babies.
She's been waiting. I've got chills.
Me too. Oh.
So there is kind of a happy ending because there are a lot of immigrants that come over and are killed or murdered.
Their families
never know what happened to them. So at least
especially if they're undocumented and then you don't have a way to find anything. Exactly. You don't even have a way to identify them unless it's like a friend.
Yeah.
So
crazy story.
That is crazy. Crazy.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got past the icky part though. Oh Lord.
I will admit, the pictures are tough to look at.
Yeah.
They are really tough to look at.
And this explains to me why the other day it was pouring down rain, and I was going to pick up my son to take him to a class. And I was kind of in a hurry, but right before I went, I wanted to check the mail because I had some sugar-coated murder merchandise coming in. One thing was for him, so I wanted to see if it was there. And I got it, and I got so excited. And then I was like, oh, it's pouring down rain. I don't want to take the rest of the mail. So I just walk out to my car. And then
enters Anne, who's walking trout. It's pouring down rain outside. I go to walk my dog. As I'm coming back, I can see keys hanging out of a mailbox. And I thought, well, that's strange. I get closer. Karen's keys hanging out of the mailbox. And I think, what the hell has happened to my sister?
She's in a barrel.
Her car is gone. Her keys are in the mailbox. Her mail is in the mailbox. There's a truck downstairs where someone is obviously working on one of the apartments, probably painting it. I'm thinking, oh my God, I ran up here with my dog, said some very ugly things when I called her and said, where are you?
And I was like, in my car? What's your problem?
I said, you scared the crap out of me. You don't leave your keys in a mailbox in the pouring rain. Take your car when you and your sister do a murder podcast.
And you just watched a whole show about a woman in a barrel.
I had done that, and the story after that is about a poor woman in a wishing well.
Oh my gosh!
Where is my sister?
My sister is in a well. No, I was just ditzy.
Yeah.
So that was an incredible murder. So I'm going to go over, while you're getting the bars ready, I'm going to go over our social media situation.
Yes, because there's social media. We've got some exciting things coming up.
Yes.
We have a lot to say.
Yes. All right, so the first thing is, the excitement is that today is the last day of September, and it's also, as I mentioned before, International Podcast Day. But the more exciting news than that is, starting in October, we're dedicating all of our episodes to ghost stories.
Ooh,
we're so excited. So we may or may not even get into the kitchen because we're trying to go and record some remote locations, maybe on location at a couple of places. So bear with us if we don't get in the kitchen. We'll be back in the kitchen as soon as October is over, but that's so exciting.
It's so exciting.
Yes, we're very excited. We have a lot of things just jam-packed in there for you guys, so stay tuned.
You told them, I'm sorry, I was looking at my bars. Did you tell them we're going to be on location?
I said we are going to be either remotely, we're going to be remote and on location as much as we can. So we may not be in the kitchen. We may be not in a kitchen area.
No, we're going to be in spooky places.
We're going to be in spooky, well, not all of them are spooky, but some of them.
Right.
So,
I understand what you're saying.
So anyway, I'm going to go over our social media. We have Instagram, and that is at Sugar-Coated Murder. You can find us on there. Please come and join the fun on Instagram. We have Facebook. We have a Facebook regular page that's just Sugar-Coated Murder Podcast. You can find us there. And you can also find us at the Sugar-Coated Murder Podcast fan page group. And that one you have to ask to join, but we've never turned away anybody because we're desperate for friends.
We are. We're desperate.
And we're always so excited when somebody wants to join our group. We're like, oh my God, we got another one. So find us there. And then also we have email, which we've talked about before, but it's murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com. And email us, let us know, give us spooky stories,
Yes.
give us murder stories, give us recipes, and give us your love because we need it.
We do
Desperately need it.
We do.
And gosh, is that all the stuff that we have? Is that it? Oh, don't forget we have merchandise.
We do
We're
have
at
merchandise.
T-Public merchandise. Sorry, Sugar Coated Murder Podcast. And also, we've just launched on Redbubble. So you can go to redbubble.com and look up Sugar Coated Pod, I think is what they called us.
Okay.
Or it could be Sugar Murder Pod.
Well, that's important to know.
It is, but if you type in Sugar Coated Murder Podcast, it will take you to that.
Gotcha.
So we have merchandise there as well. So those are two different places for merchandise, and they have some similar things, but then they have a lot of different things too. So you can look at both places. And I don't think we have anything else.
You did. You've gotten a coffee mug and some shirts.
Oh, we all got face masks.
We got face masks.
Yes, I have a shirt on today it's a men's, but it's a V-neck t-shirt, and I really love it. It's so soft.
It's very snazzy.
Yeah, I love it. And got a coffee mug. My husband got a spiral bound notebook.
Yeah, so it's good quality product.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to taste these key lime bars.
We are.
And they look so good, and I love it that they're still warm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they're covered in powdered sugar.
Yeah, they are.
Sugar, you did it.
It's amazing.
Guys, if you just need a little bit of summer left,
These are great.
get these. They looked very simple from my point of view.
Yeah, they weren't.
And they're
hard.
quite tasty. You can turn these out in a heartbeat. I have a feeling, except for the juice, that you've got everything else in your kitchen already.
Yeah, most likely.
Yep.
Oh,
So.
let me go back and talk a little bit more about our on location or remote episodes. We're going to have special guests too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have special guests. And these are people that are like ghost storytellers professionally.
I know. That's amazing.
We've got some that aren't professional, some that are professional. But we can't tell you because it's a secret right now. But
It's a surprise.
there's one place we're going. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind.
It's blowing my mind.
Everybody else has to pay to go. We're going for free.
Yep, we are, girl.
And it's going to be scary.
It's going to be spooky.
And you're going to have to drive because I'm going to have to drink. We might have to Uber to that one.
It's in the middle of the day.
Yes.
It's like in the morning.
I know. We'll be so scared though.
I know. It's going to be so fun, guys.
Yes.
So stay tuned for all that special stuff. And
Lots
in
of
the
fun stuff.
meantime, stay sweet and don't murder.
No, because if you kill people,
We'll
will
talk about you. And wash your damn hands.
Wash your freaking hands.
Wear a mask when it's necessary. It's an act of kindness, not an act of submission.
Yeah.
And
that's it. Have a great week.
everybody have a great week. Thank you again, Robin, for sending me the murder. Send murders. We love it. And we love y'all. And goodbye.
Goodbye.